We have an incredible weekend of college football coming up. College football week 1. And yes, it is week 1. I know there were games last weekend. That's college football week 0. I don't know why college football starts that early. I guess the answer is because you need some reason to tune into Nebraska and Northwestern. I didn't really watch that game. I know Nebraska lost. That's a hilarious thought. But truly, this is college football week 1 happening starting tonight. This is going to come out on Thursday. There are 8 college football games you should pay attention to during college football week 1. I call them 8 pay attention to games. Number 1, Thursday, September 1st, tonight, West Virginia at number 17, Pittsburgh. There are so many storylines regarding this football game. I cannot wait to watch it. How about this first? It's the 2 quarterbacks, Kedon Slovis against JT Daniels. Kedon Slovis for Pittsburgh, JT Daniels for West Virginia. They used to play together as teammates in LA at USC. JT Daniels was the starting quarterback at USC. He got hurt. Kedon Slovis came in and took his spot, basically. Now neither of them are at USC. They're playing each other for different football teams. It's wild. It's fun. I really like it. West Virginia's offensive coordinator, by the way, is Graham Harrell. He also used to be the offensive coordinator at USC. He coached both Kedon Slovis and JT Daniels, and now they're starting their first game with new teams against each other. And anytime you get to see a transfer quarterback starting his first game with a new team, that's interesting, let alone when 2 guys are doing it against each other and they have all this history against each other. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I think both quarterbacks, Kedon Slovis and JT Daniels, have first-round talent at quarterback, and they are trying to prove themselves this year. They're trying to show, hey, we're a guy that should be drafted in the first round. And by the way, West Virginia and Pittsburgh are 2 teams that have an old rivalry against each other. It's called the Backyard Bowl. This is the first time these 2 teams have played each other since 2011, and Pennsylvania and West Virginia as states share a border. In fact, the 2 schools are about an hour and a half apart from each other. So I'm excited. West Virginia at Pittsburgh should be fun, should be exciting. They're going to throw the ball a ton. It's going to be like one air raid system against another, basically, and they're just going to throw the ball all over the field. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. I cannot wait to watch West Virginia at Pittsburgh. Okay, game number 2. Pay attention, game number 2 is number 11 Oregon at number 3 Georgia. This is really interesting to me. Now, Georgia should win this game. They just won a national title. I'm biased, but they're an SEC program. I live in the Northwest. I'm from Oregon. So when I tell you Georgia's going to beat Oregon, you know I'm coming at it with a little more objective bias. I just think, hey, sorry, I live here, but the SEC's got better football. They're going to beat up on the Pac-12 school. They did lose a lot of NFL talent. Georgia did. They lost a bunch of starters on defense. They had this incredible defense last year. They lost a bunch of guys to the NFL. They're not going to be as good as they were last year, but they did reload. And Oregon has a new head coach and a new quarterback. Bo Nix transferred from Auburn. He's already played Georgia 3 times in his career. He knows Georgia pretty well. They know him pretty well. I'm really excited to watch Bo Nix on his new team. And I'm curious how bad Oregon's going to lose. Are they going to be obliterated? Or are they going to hold their own and have kind of a fighting chance? Now, it is interesting because Oregon's new head coach, Dan Lanning, was Georgia's defensive coordinator last fall. He won a national title with them and then went straight to Oregon. So he's playing his old team. I find that pretty interesting. What's going to happen between Oregon and Georgia? Oregon at Georgia. That's on Saturday. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be interesting. Game number 3. Number 23 ranked Cincinnati at number 19 Arkansas. Cincinnati was great last year, but they lost a bunch of key players to the NFL, including their quarterback, Desmond Ridder. And Arkansas is an SEC program and should win this football game. I would be surprised if Arkansas did not win between Cincinnati and Arkansas. I also got to say, I love Arkansas's quarterback, KJ Jefferson. I'm not sure he's an NFL quarterback. I don't know about his ability to throw the ball. He's certainly going to throw for a lot of yards this year and be fun and exciting, but I don't know. He's on my radar. We'll find out. But KJ Jefferson is really fun to watch. The dude can run like a running back. He can throw. This game has my attention, Cincinnati at Arkansas, but I am predicting Arkansas to win this game, and maybe even comfortably. Game number 4, number 7 ranked Utah at Florida. Florida's quarterback, Anthony Richardson, is interesting. I'm excited to watch him. But what I'm most interested in watching is Utah quarterback Cam Rising. I want to see Cam Rising against an SEC-level defense, more talented players, faster players, a good defense like Florida. I'm sorry, but Florida's defense compared to Colorado or Arizona or Washington State, they don't compare, and I really want to see Cam Rising in a true test of his abilities. Cam Rising was outstanding last year in the Rose Bowl. Against Ohio State, he was awesome. That caught my attention. I saw some NFL potential, and Cam Rising against Florida, it's a good test to figure out how good he is, and I'm really, really excited to watch that matchup. Game number 5. And by the way, these games are in no particular order other than I think the order of when they happen. Game number 5, number 5 ranked Notre Dame plays at number 2 Ohio State. It's a matchup of 2 Midwest powerhouse programs, both ranked in the top 5. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. But, you know, the other thing I'm excited about is I cannot wait to watch Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud. I'm hoping for a fun and exciting game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I'm praying for that. I want it to be tense. I want it to be interesting. If this game is close in the fourth quarter, that's all I could possibly ask for. I think Ohio State's going to win. Notre Dame has a new head coach, and I think their quarterback isn't as good. But all I'm asking for, can Notre Dame please make it interesting in the fourth quarter? If that happens, no matter who wins or loses, I don't really care. I just want this game to be a nail-biter. That would be something that would make me very, very happy. If this game is actually competitive and close, oh my gosh, I can die happy. Game number 6, Texas plays Louisiana Monroe. I am very interested in watching the new quarterback at Texas, Quinn Ewers. He's a transfer from Ohio State, and really he's going to get one game to get settled in before their second game of the year. Texas's second game of the year is hosting Alabama. So you got to get it figured out week 1. You get settled in, you get some confidence, and then bam, you got a massive test week 2. So my eyes are on Quinn Ewers this weekend. How is he going to look in his first ever game starting for Texas against Louisiana Monroe, and what will that say about his future? But I hope he gets off to a good start. They steamroll Louisiana Monroe, and it helps him get some momentum going into week 2. I would imagine they're going to lose to Alabama, but I hope that what happens when Texas does eventually play Alabama week 2, that Quinn Ewers does well. He's not the reason why they lose. And honestly, even if he does lose his second ever start at Texas to Alabama, you can swallow that. Hopefully you learn from that. It's a growing experience, but keep your eyes firmly trained on Texas this weekend. How does their new starting quarterback do against Louisiana Monroe? His first ever start for Texas. Game number 7. So we've talked about all the stuff Saturday, Thursday. Game number 7 is Sunday, September 4th. It is the last Sunday of the year without NFL football. The last Sunday for a long, long time, basically until February. That's not going to have an NFL game. We get Florida State at LSU. LSU has a new coach. Brian Kelly came over from Notre Dame. This is going to be his first ever game with LSU. How is that going to go? And who is going to be LSU's starting quarterback? I expect it to be Jaden Daniels, who transferred in from Arizona State. I guess we're going to find out on game day because Brian Kelly doesn't want to tell anyone. He's just like, I'm holding this close to my chest, and I'm not going to tell you until game day. I think there's some kind of strategic thought there as well. But I don't know. I'm interested. What's going to happen? Brian Kelly's first ever game. Who's the starting quarterback at LSU? And, LSU hosting Florida State. That sounds fun and interesting to me. Plus, again, it's a Sunday game. Not a lot else is going on that Sunday. There's an F1 race, but most Americans don't watch Formula One, so I think it'll be fun to watch and pay attention to. Then game number 8 on Monday, September 5th. You have number 4 Clemson at Georgia Tech. And at the time of recording, DJ Uiagalelei is expected to be the starting quarterback for Clemson in this football game. But it's also expected, I've read, that freshman quarterback Cade Klubnik is going to play this fall. So who really knows what that means? I think what that means is you're going to play TJ for a little bit, like a couple games. When he falters, you put in Cade Klubnik. He'll be the starting quarterback the rest of the year. We'll find out, though. Either way, this game is an event. It's Monday night. It's Clemson football, an interesting quarterback battle with Cade Klubnik and DJ Uiagalelei. By the way, Georgia Tech, they're competitive. They're interesting. It's a big-time ACC conference game. I'm excited. I find this game to be interesting and kind of like an event-level game that's going to be hopefully, just a big production and fun and exciting and close and interesting. And who is going to be Clemson's quarterback by the end of the game? We'll find out. I really cannot wait. And I'm hoping for a interesting, highly competitive football game that comes down to the wire, as I always do. But keep your eye on the Clemson quarterbacks this weekend. Those are the 8 games that I call pay attention to games. You got to keep them on your radar. And what's really fun about college football week 1, there's going to be some game that comes out of nowhere that you're like, I cannot believe that happened, or I cannot believe this, or we'll talk about these 8 games come next Tuesday. But what else is going to come out of nowhere? Maybe what games are going to surprise us that we don't expect to be good or interesting or noteworthy? That's something that is fun to keep your eye on this weekend in college football, is what game comes out of nowhere and is better than we think or has an interesting storyline that is unexpected. And we will for sure cover it on Tuesday.